What's up, guys? Today's topic, we're going to go over something fun. Something that a lot of people kind of get mixed up and kind of get all up in arms about and then kind of cringe back in their seat when you hear it. It's the topic of discipline. Whenever I talk in front of a group of people, when I get to the topic of discipline, I can see the room go, like they start to roll their eyes and they start to go like, because discipline has a negative connotation to it. People will say things like, you have to discipline your child, or you need to discipline your dog, or you need to be more disciplined, meaning you're not, whatever it is you're talking about is not sufficient without it, which is true. Discipline makes you, or whatever it is you're talking about, a better person or thing. Whether it's you, your kids, your dogs, or any other pets you might have. So here's the paradox, is that discipline, despite the negative connotation of having kind of a ball and chain kind of feeling, it actually creates more freedom instead of less freedom. And the reason is because you're on a schedule, or you're on a certain regimen, or you have a specific routine, which means things are already baked into the cake. Everything's built in already. So you don't have to think about decisions which frees your mind up. So for me, my morning routine is going to the gym. I'm at the gym by 4 a.m. I'm back by 5 a.m. I take a shower, and then I've got from like 5:30 to like 8:30 to do whatever I want. Usually it's to work before, the rest of the world wakes up. And then I go about my day with whatever was on the schedule that day. And having that discipline in the morning, it makes, I don't have to think about going to the gym. I don't have to figure out a time as to when I need to fit the gym in. It's already there. It's already built into the cake. I don't have to worry about, trying to get that extra exercise. Where can I, I'm all fritzed out because I can't find any time to get my workout in each week. And, it's already there. I've made time for it. It's already there. So here's the other thing, is sometimes discipline, the cool thing about discipline that I've learned is that it can be automated. And so when it came to managing my transactions for my real estate business, everything was automated. So I didn't have to, once it's all written down or programmed into your CRM or something like that, you don't have to think about it. And so I guess what I'm getting at is the point of discipline, or at least the way I use it, is to free up your mind, because when there's less in your mind, you can think clearer. So whether it's writing something down on a piece of paper, or, I use my notepad app on my phone, so I don't have to actually, I don't carry a pen and paper around with me all the time. And it just, frankly, I think it's a little bit of a waste of paper to do that now. So I just write it on my notepad on my phone. And then get it out of my head, because if it's out of my head, it's on paper. I don't have to remember. I don't have to spend the time, the energy trying to remember it. So, I'll get it out of my head, and that's how I stay disciplined. Now let me, I do have a couple more stories to tell you though. So as to how discipline creates more freedom in your life, as opposed to making you feel more constricted. So let's put it this way. So if you have so a while back, there was a show called Dog Whisperer. Yeah, Dog Whisperer. The Dog Whisperer with Cesar Millan. And Cesar Millan there was countless amount of people who would who never knew how to walk a dog. Their dogs were pulling on the leash and freaking out or going to attack another dog, blah, blah, blah. So they give the dog to Cesar. Cesar comes in, he gets the whole, he either takes the harness off, puts on a special kind of leash, maybe puts a muzzle on the dog, and maybe wears the dog out. And long story short, when Caesar's done with the dog, he could take the leash off, he could take the muzzle off, and then let the dog do whatever it wants, because it's been disciplined. So now the dog has total freedom because it's been disciplined, as opposed to when it's not disciplined, it's frustrated, it's trying to, burn energy out. It's all locked up with a muzzle and a chain, and it's all tied up because it's not disciplined. So that's just to give you guys an image of what the difference between being disciplined and not disciplined is. Also, we could talk about another story. If you're not using your money correctly. So for me and my wife, my wife is more of the spender and I'm more of the saver. But like when we have our budgets built up, like we spend our money before we actually spend it. So what I'm saying is like on a piece of paper, we'll say like, look, if you want to go shopping this month, you have $400 to spend. Like we've already written it into the budget. So, you know, when Ashley goes to the store, she doesn't have to think about, you know, she doesn't have to have that feeling of guilt. She doesn't have to hide it. She can just go and spend money because on paper, it's already been spent. But, you know, obviously she has to stay under that number. And that goes for me too with my budget every month. But it's built into the cake, really. So like I said, the money's already been spent on paper. So when you go to spend the money, you don't feel guilty. You don't feel terrible about it. You just feel like, oh, cool. You know, and at the end of the year, or at the end of the month, if you didn't spend all that money, like if say you didn't spend the whole $400, then it's like, okay, cool. Like I got an extra $100 for next month, or you could just save it and put it towards like your future or something like that. So it creates a liberating feeling that way. So, and just to give you guys a little bit of a insight, kind of a consequence to not having discipline. So like, imagine yourself, pretend there's a boat at a dock and the boat's tied up at the dock. And what happens is if you remove the discipline, aka the rope that's tying the boat to the dock, that boat is slowly going to drift away from the dock, away from where it's supposed to be. Now, drift is so subtle, you don't feel it. And if you fall asleep, like if you fall asleep on a boat that's not tied up, you'll wake up in a different place because it's not tied down or anchored. So the same thing with this boat at the dock. If you take the rope away, remove the discipline, the boat will drift and you'll wake up on the boat not attached to the dock. You might be a mile up river or something like that, or a mile out into the ocean. Who knows where you'll be, neither of which is in the right place. So you've got to have the discipline, because then without the discipline, the drift takes over. And we don't want drift. We have to keep drift out of our life. So if it means, for what it's worth, I would say to get discipline into your life, it's simply just to keep drift out of it, because drift will cause a lot of trouble and a lot of problems for you. So that's my spiel on discipline for the day. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of it, and I will see you guys in the next episode.